Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Planet Film Network. I'm one of your hosts, Sean Monk. I almost said I have been one of your hosts.
I'm your host, TJ Cornwell.
And tonight we are going live a little bit later, but that's okay. We are going to be diving deep after a long day of quite a few reveals. As you can tell by the thumbnail, it is not our normal weekly Daredevil talk, which of course we are still going to be talking quite a bit of Daredevil in this episode. But there was a rumor. I don't even know if you saw this, but really late last night, there was a rumor coming over some of the kind of scoop places saying that Marvel was going to have a huge announcement tomorrow, being today.
Yeah.
And obviously we got that in the form of a 5.5 hour. Oh, you know what I just realized? The live stream today was the same length of Infinity War and Endgame together.
Oh.
And the same length they said the Russos said about these two movies. But anyway, sorry. A 5.5 hour live stream of the cast reveal for Avengers Doomsday. Obviously, that movie is coming out in just over a year. So I think we have about 15 months until that movie comes out. Makes sense getting the ball rolling. Obviously, we know a lot of these movies are worked on for years leading up to them, even including this one that the Russos just recently came onto. But they've had about, I think it's been like 9-10 months since they, got officially added back on. So makes sense. Filming starts this week, as we have heard for a long time. So they decided to announce the cast. But until we get to that, we are going to start off today's episode with our little game Movie Grid, which TJ brought up, I think like 2 or 3 shows ago.
Yeah, a few weeks ago.
Yeah, that we've been doing every week to start off the show. Just a little brain teaser. If again, also I wanted to say above my head right there, call in with any of your questions, anything that you want to talk about with the Marvel announcements today. The only thing with the calls is that we ask that your microphone is on and that your camera is off, just because we don't have the layout to bring in people on their webcam. So we just bring people in an audio call only. But feel free to call in. You can just call in, mute everything, on your phone or whatever. And then, you could just stay down there waiting for us to pull you into the show. Or, later on after we're done with the topic, you can go ahead and call in. If you have a question or if you want to discuss something in one of the topics for tonight's show. And that link actually is not in the description yet, but it is going to be right now. Okay, perfect. And I also go ahead and threw that link for the call into the live chat. So without further ado, let's go ahead and head over to our movie grid.
Can you zoom in just a tad?
You got it.
Thank you. There we go.
All right. So if you don't know, this is like movie Sudoku, basically, which is like kind of awesome. Oh, look, it's our favorite category again. Starts with A-H. A couple weeks ago, that gave us some trouble because we could not read it properly. All right, where do you want to dive in here?
Let's see. 2 words. Character name and title. Well, okay, so I guess for first we'll just do Wonka. Yeah. That one seems like the easiest one.
Does he even have any others?
I don't think so. No,
I don't think
not
so.
that I can think of.
Yeah, I feel like Wonka might just have to be like 100%.
Okay,
66. Okay, there's got to be at least one other movie then. I'd be interested to know what that is. Character name in the title, and then I should say we have Timothée Chalamet, Demi Moore, and then fittingly for today, Chris Hemsworth. Let's see.
Demi Moore.
Demi Moore would be...
I've definitely not seen as many movies that she's in.
Mm-hmm. I mean, my mind immediately goes to G.I. Jane.
Okay.
Just because that's her. I don't know. I honestly don't think I will ever come up with another one.
Neither do I. Yeah. G.I.
Oh, my God.
There it is.
6. Okay, so there must be another one.
That makes sense. Yeah. I feel like she's played like a historical figure, but I can't think of who that would be.
Yeah, I don't know. If she hasn't, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah. All right. Chris Hemsworth.
Obviously, there's the obvious one.
Thor, obviously.
Yeah.
What else has he been in? Trying to think of the movies I've seen.
Was the driver's last name in Rush?
I don't think so. No.
Chris Hemsworth.
Something early. What's something like?
Yeah.
Not before, but like, I feel like in between Avengers movies or Thor's or.
Well,
whatever.
you have Star Trek, which is not named after it.
Oh no, you're right. Who did he play in Star Trek?
George Kirk. I know that I make this joke all the time.
Yeah.
But is that character's last name actually Extraction or no?
No. Okay. We might have to go Thor because I can't think of.
I'm just trying to think of like Chris Hemsworth movies. I mean,
obviously, I just feel like
obviously Furiosa. No,
I know he's been obviously in other like movies, but I just feel like
was his name Black Hat? I don't think so. I think that I don't think that was his name in that. Was his name I can think of Chris Hemsworth movies? Like, was his name 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea or whatever? When he did that one with Tom Holland, or what was that movie? The Old Man in the Sea, whatever the one like the old book was.
I think we go with we go with like.
Let's go with like Dark World.
Yeah, do Dark World. Do like the least like.
Or maybe what do you think about Dark World or Love and Thunder?
Do Dark World.
All right. Oh, hey.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's pretty good. I wonder if if the answers are only the Thor movies.
Maybe. Yeah.
They might have just been overthinking it. We kind of crushed that category. Two-word title. This is not at least 2 words. This is, I would assume it has to be only 2 words.
Little Women.
Wow, that's a good one.
Do you think that's
I think that, yeah, because I don't think people think about that. Okay, well. Pretty good.
It's probably gonna be one like maybe Beautiful Boy would have been better.
Oh yeah.
But I can't think of off the top of my head currently like a bunch of other ones. I mean, The Substance is the first one that I come to. Yeah, Danielle said Beautiful Boy. Yeah, that would have been a good guess.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not versed in her movies.
Yeah. 2-word title. The Substance. Trying to put The Substance out of my mind. I think we might just have to go for it.
Might have to, yeah. Who knows? Maybe a bunch of people didn't guess that. Nope.
I think that's still pretty good, to be honest. And then this one I'll just do now because it's the only one that I can think of.
Is it? Oh wait.
Yeah.
It's H. Sorry. I didn't realize you changed the. I was like, that's
40%. Wow. I wonder if there's something lower than that. Chris Hemsworth 2-word title. Thor Ragnarok.
Thor Ragnarok.
Black Hat is 1 word.
1 word.
Yeah. Otherwise, Black Hat would be like an incredible guess. Extraction 2. Is that 2 words?
Count. No. Is it 2? Like 2 the number?
Yeah, it's just the number 2.
Okay.
Imagine if it was TOO though. That would be so funny.
Yeah. Well, we could do any other Marvel movie though that he's in. Is there any other ones that are?
Oh, Danielle has said a great one, Red Dawn. But what about you might be right though. What about The Avengers? The Substance was one.
Yeah.
Because I think that even Endgame would be a higher percentage than The Avengers. I don't think people are thinking of that. Thank God we live in America, because in every other country, this movie was just called Avengers. We got the. Let's go. I think our logic was sound on that one. That was good. You saying that because nobody's gonna.
they're
only going to think of the Thor movies. Like,
yeah, I mean, I was just thinking of movies he
yeah.
led, but it's just movies that he's in.
Yeah.
You know. Okay, so title starts with. So what is it again? It starts with H.
Starts with A through H.
Oh, A through H. Okay.
Yeah.
They really should just say A through.
They need to work on the text wrap on that.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, Timothée Chalamet,
Beautiful
Dune.
Boy, Dune.
Beautiful Boy, yeah. Oh, what about Bones and All?
Bones and All. Yeah, I think Bones and All maybe is lower on the guest.
Yeah.
I think.
Are we going?
Hold on.
Anthony Jeselnik's special is called Bones and All. That's so random.
Is there any other movies that you can think of?
I mean, Beautiful Boy would maybe be a toss up with Bones and All. I feel like that would be big.
Yeah.
Obviously, both Dunes would be.
Yeah, I would.
We'd be shooting ourselves in the foot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, what about like? I got it. You said it. Movies that they're in.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
I mean, that percent is going to be tiny, man.
Yeah, that's got to be.
I'll take that. Single digits, I'll take
8. Yep.
I'll take that. I was just trying to go through his filmography, and I was like, oh, yeah, he was in that fucking movie.
I would just do Black Hat for this.
Yeah.
I feel like
because otherwise I think maybe Rush would be smaller, but that's an R. Oh, this movie doesn't exist. Okay, I was like, where is it? Another single digit. Let's go. And then, of course, one of the best parts of this whole thing is that they give you all the data. Most popular guesses. So
wow, Little Women. I'm surprised.
We went 3 for 3 on Demi Moore.
Popular. Yeah.
Yeah, we went 2 for 2 on that.
Oh, Age of Ultron.
Age of Ultron. Wow. Yeah, Thor Ragnarok. And then just Thor.
Look at that, what was 0.2%? What?
Yeah, what was the rare though?
Loving Lee. What is that?
Loving Lee, and he was Lee.
Huh. Okay.
Oh wow.
Oh, Hunchback
and then Miss Stevens. Oh, Hostiles. Wow, yeah, that's good. Team Thor Part 2.
That doesn't count.
Deadpool and Wolverine.
That doesn't count.
That's reused archival footage. Come on now. What are we doing here?
Team Thor does not count. What is how
That's
long
crazy.
Is that?
This one I can give the website a pass because it's an official uncredited cameo. This one is on the website. A Marvel one shot should not count on this. That's crazy.
I don't even remember him and Deadpool and Wolverine.
It's the why is Thor crying? The he's holding Deadpool, but it's just just CGI'd footage from Thor 2. It's like flipped and the color grade is different and stuff.
That's bullshit.
Yeah.
I forgot about 12 Strong. I haven't seen that, but I've totally forgot that movie existed.
I forgot about that movie existed too, which is crazy because do you fucking remember how long that was up in the poster case next to box office?
Oh, so I guess numbers do count. Isn't that the two? That's the 2 word.
Yeah, I guess numbers would count, but I'm wondering because this isn't a sequel denoter. It's like almost an adjective.
Yeah.
So that'd be interesting. That's very interesting that it counts though.
One of these days we're gonna guess all the smallest ones.
Yeah, those we didn't even talk about Demi Moore, Love Sonia, Corporate Animals, and then mind you, that's Hunchback of Notre Dame 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, pretty crazy stuff. All right, we are actually going to go ahead and jump over into Daredevil now, which had episodes 5 and 6 drop last night. This guy right here himself, the Devil of Hell's Kitchen, came back to us last night with episodes 5 and 6. And they basically dropped these 2 episodes at the mid-season mark. And one is to do with a bank heist, and one is to do with kind of the main overarching story that has been going on in this season. So we got kind of a cool little almost bottle episode, not one room, but just like kind of one location with the bank. Kind of a very cool way to do it. I'm sure it was probably actually shot like this whole show has been in an actual bank in an actual location, which is very, very cool. Sorry, just one moment. There we go. Which is very, very cool. But yeah, let's start there. Episode 5, TJ. I'm gonna throw it over to you. How did you like this episode? How did you like kind of the comedy? If you want to dive right into the kind of broader MCU connections, I think a lot of people already know what was going on with that episode. But yeah, what were your thoughts overall on episode 5, an episode that we stayed basically exclusively with Matt? So yeah, what were your thoughts on it?
I had a good time with it. I thought it was cool to see obviously Yusuf Khan, Kamala's dad show up. I feel like we haven't seen him or anything really to do with the Marvels since that movie. Which was relatively poorly received. But I would say the highlights of that movie are her family and the banter that they all have with Kamala and the superheroes and all that stuff. So to see him show up in the show is really cool. And I just kind of liked watching, Daredevil do his thing and take out the bad guys, rescue a group of hostages. I probably could have done without the banter, the jokes between the lead cop and the one like kind of lead
the
robber.
Lead, robber, yeah.
I thought that was kind of, like whatever, why are we really doing this? Again, they're kind of utilizing the Matt using his heightened senses to get out of situations. What were they a little were they a little, what's the word, kind of overused per se, where we're opening a giant bank vault with whatever kind of lock that Kamal's dad says sounds like it's like the most ridiculous lock in the world to get open, and Matt cracks it in like 2 minutes. Is it a little like out there? I would say I would say yes, but I still had a really good time with it. And yeah, it was a nice little kind of just bottle episode where everything's happening in the same place, and we don't really move anything forward, I would say. But yeah, I had a fun time. There's not much else to say with the episode, just because like I'm not gonna say nothing happened, but like nothing pushed the overall story forward. So
yeah, it was way more of just like a character episode,
right?
Like,
but I liked the majority of it, and again, I just like to see. I guess the highlight to me was having Yusuf Khan and Matt Murdock interact, and their chemistry was off the charts. And yeah, it was a good episode. Maybe unpopular opinion, but
I don't know. Is it? Did people like it or no?
I don't know. I feel like overall, it's probably looked at
it just gets overshadowed by episode 6.
Well, I mean, we'll talk about that. I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, real quick, I agree with basically everything you said. I loved him doing the bank vault thing, just because I said like about 4 minutes into the episode, I was like, dude, this is a bank heist. You got Daredevil. I was like, somehow that ear is touching that safe. Like, I said that like 4 minutes into the episode, and I was so happy when it finally happened. But yeah, I do like that it, and obviously, yeah, it is up and out there in terms of like his abilities and stuff. And I would say it's not up and out there in terms of like believability, because we're in the MCU and this is like this guy's a superhero, but it's out there in terms of like in the Venn diagrams of like Daredevil's powers, or not the Venn diagram, but like the word blob thing that where it's like the most used words are the biggest, and then like the ones are real small. It's like safe cracking is like over here on Matt Murdock's word cloud. But that was just a cool little use case of it. And then something you didn't touch on, which I'll go to, because again, I agree with basically everything you did say, is I thought the little fight between him and the head robber in the alley was just so brutal. I mean, this show is just, obviously I will say the one thing, and I've only watched normally I try to watch the episode, once or twice, but 2 episodes, I was already tired. Crazy day today, and I just have only seen it once, but on my first viewing, I was kind of like, and granted, you're not going to actually kill a guy on camera, so like the bottle in his face, I was like, I didn't know if that looked like so believable with the CGI, like with that, and that's somebody who I did not have any problems with the CGI in the first episode of the show. I was just like, oh, I don't know how real that looks, but then 1 millisecond later, Matt like American History X's this guy's leg in like one of the most brutal sound design like elements that I think we've heard on an MCU show before, with the snap of that guy's leg, was absolutely crazy. And then I like that the one little string left hanging that you think might be left hanging, you find out that like Matt covered that too because he swapped it out with the candy. I thought that was great. And then yeah, I mean, I guess like you said, there's not really a lot to spoil or anything in this, but I liked the little reveal at the end that's like he returned the diamond to the bank, like so that the bank could just have it back, and otherwise it's going to be in custody and like all this stuff, and I like that he just kept it at the bank so that like Yusuf Khan could probably keep his job. I thought that was really, really cool. And then I did like, in terms of just some of the stuff that it forwarded, like I really liked the dynamic of like that the old show had and this show has, of what it takes to actually have your own practice. And then it's like some of it is like that balance that Matt has always talked about of, we take a bunch of public defendant cases and then we take a rich client to, balance out the books basically. And so I like this idea that he has to go to these different banks and get this money together and everything like that. Interesting that second Marvel show where a superhero is going to a bank to try and get a loan approved for their business. But
they should probably they should probably look into not. I feel like they should probably look into not expanding, considering they, like he said, they seem very over leveraged, which to me means they probably owe a lot of people a lot of money and they're not really generating that much money.
Yeah.
So maybe not the best time to start, moving offices. And I did like how he was like, let's talk about how maybe we can make you more profitable, and stuff like that. I thought that was funny to see.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree with you on the fight scenes in the alleyway. I thought the fight scene on the stairs was also great when he's kind of.
I loved how quiet it was.
Yes, I loved how like the music seemed to, kind of built the tension and it cut out and then it just kind of let them fight. I thought that was really cool.
And the gun catch, that was like. You know what I liked about the gun catch, other than just like how cool of a moment it was, because like you're in this silence and you're like, oh my god, that would obviously, first of all, it would go off. Second of all, it would slam onto the ground. I loved that when his arm went through it, you could tell that was just an actor on a real staircase. Like it wasn't like they built this thing on a set just so that they could get this shot of him. It was like they were up on the stairs, had the camera shot down, and it was just like, there's just a way that this show just feels more real and like tactile than some of the other shows do. And that's just another one of those moments that I was just like, man, this show like feels like we are in like a confident like vision. You know what I mean? What I'm trying to say, like, I just feel like everything is like done with such purpose on this show. But yeah. I mean, that'll probably do it for episode 5, honestly. I mean, I really, really like the episode, and I do like that they paired it up with 6, because I mean, I know just 100%, I know, because of how every channel acts, is if this episode had come out on its own, it would be the end of this show. It would be, if this episode came out on its own, as good as it is, you would not hear the end of it for 8 days. And then episode 6 would be too little too late. Oh, they finally gave it to us, but after episode 5, blah, blah, blah. So I do like that they put these out, kind of double-handed, because I do think, even though not much pushes forward, it is just a really nice, like, 40 minutes that you spend with Matt. Like you said at the very beginning, like, just using his, like, non-Daredevil part to save these hostages, to, you know, diffuse this situation, to use violence when he needed to like put a stop at the end of the day. But yeah, I just thought I thought it was really, really fun. And again, the energy that he had and the kind of like natural charisma that him and Yusuf Khan had was really, really good. The one weird moment for me though was like, and I don't know why, because it's real life, but like was like the Funko Pop moment. Like just the fact that there was like, there have been Funkos in the MCU before, but they're always on a shelf and they're always called like figures.
Yeah.
But the fact that he was like her own custom Funko, like it would have been one step too far, I think, if he had said her own Funko Pop.
Did you like the fact that he was very, 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 very proud of his daughter, that he just kept bringing her up?
I did like that fact because he's a good dad.
I didn't have an issue with it. I don't know. I was
I know. I didn't have an issue with like the amount that he brought it up.
Yeah.
But maybe one or two more, and I would have, because I just noted it. I was just like, okay, he's bringing her. This is like the fifth time.
It's like,
but
hey,
also that's very
Marvel on Disney Plus.
Yeah, it's also very in character of him. I did like the I don't know if it was a She-Hulk reference or not, but I took it as one that like Daredevil has now like been at more dinner tables of superheroes than anyone else. He was in the Parker living room at their table. He was at Bruce and Jen's entire extended family picnic in their grandparents' backyard. And now he's going to Jersey City to have a family dinner day with the Khans. So this guy, everybody loves Daredevil. He just can't stop getting invited to everybody's house. Still never been to the Avengers compound though. All right, we're gonna switch it up here real quick, and I hope that our caller here is maybe gonna lead us into episode 6 with their thoughts. But we do have Shelly on the line. Shelly, do you want to mute and then unmute yourself to show that you're ready to come in? All right, perfect. Shelly, welcome to the show. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yep. You are all good. What do you want to talk about?
Well, definitely I agree with you. Just to do one little thing on episode 5 was that if it was by itself, like you said, they would have just, especially because you had Yusuf in there, the Funko Pop reference, you know, things like that. They would have said, oh, they had to have an episode to remind us this is Marvel. You know what I mean? It's like that.
And people still did say that.
Right. And where they always have some standalone thing that's way beyond what the story is, but then the next time it gets back on track, but you lose a lot of people with that one episode. So I'm glad they had it together, like, you know, like they've been doing. Are we doing spoilers or no for 6?
Yeah, let's just say if you don't want to be spoiled at all for episode 6 of Daredevil and you're watching this, I would say put us on mute for maybe the next 15 minutes, maybe 15, 20 minutes. And then we'll wave our hands like crazy again when you want to come back for our Avengers Doomsday stuff. So Daredevil episode 6 spoilers incoming now. Go for it.
When the Muse had Hector's niece, that like freaked me out because I kind of assumed she wasn't dead, but at the same time, she really looked dead hanging over her shoulder.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh no, is he draining this because she's dead? You know what I mean? And that whole thing, like putting the syringe in her and stuff, it's like just they keep giving us these reminders that this is going to be a little off the charts as far as the gross out scale kind of thing, you know, like the leg breaking. I can't watch leg breaking. It's like I knew it was coming, so I had to look away. But that was really good and everything, and him fighting him and trying to get back to her so he could, you know, help her out, and it was like the back and forth a little bit. I liked that and everything. All I kept thinking was, you know, Adam, did you really think even with like, you know, an axe that you were going to be able to stop Kingpin?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's dead. You know, I know he's alive, but he should be dead.
Yeah.
Like, you really got like, I don't know. When he was moving, I was like, just kill him. Like, why are we extending this? Maybe he comes back. I don't know. Maybe something happens later in the season or whatever. But I was like, just kill him at this point because he's got the hell beat out of him. It's probably not the first time. And I don't know. After that beating, like just like when he threw, and I know Sean, you're like, oh well, he's got the spine. But after he threw Bullseye off the building, I was like, okay, he's dead. He's not survive. I don't care what spine you have. You're not surviving that.
Yeah. I think that or sorry, Shelly, go ahead, continue.
That's okay. I did like the whole premise of that, they found out that the reason they couldn't get the paint off was because it wasn't all paint. Things like that were that grittiness that you need for a show like this, or like a Penguin or something like that. The two of them I feel are sort of hand in hand with what they're trying to do, even though they're so different and everything. But it's just the things they come up with to be that gritty, whatever. And the other thing is too, like, I feel like I felt the strain or the stress that Vanessa is under with him again. Like, I felt like she was sort of on top of things in the beginning, even with him coming back. But I just felt like yesterday we were starting to feel that sort of, am I in over my head? How do I figure this out? I know I can't trust him, that kind of thing. I really felt that with her on episode 6. So, and then the only other thing I'll say, and I know I've mentioned this to Sean before, I don't know what it is about Heather, but I don't trust her. I don't know what it is. I just don't care for her character very much. But at the same time, I just feel like almost like if she knew who he was, she would tell someone. I don't know if that's just me, but there's something about that character I don't trust.
If she knew who was, sorry.
If she like, well, she doesn't know he's Daredevil, right?
Yeah, she does not.
Yeah. So if somehow she found out, like, I just don't know if I trust she would keep it to herself or something. There's just something about her that, makes me feel like there's more to her than we're just seeing this sort of flat character. She writes books. She's a psychiatrist or whatever, and all that. It's a very one note. So I feel like there's something coming down the pike that we don't know yet.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's like, why is she there? There's got to be something. I mean, last night they mentioned, of course, what she wants to do is she wants to write the next book about the vigilantes. So that's one thing, but I just feel like there's something more there that we just don't know, because otherwise she's just sort of one of those, oh, we have to give him a girlfriend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the only thing. There's just something about that character. I feel like there's got to be something else.
Yeah, you're like waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Right.
Every time she's on screen.
Yeah, and we're just supposed to think she's just the girlfriend kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I just feel like if that's the case, they're doing a good job of it, because I can't figure out what it is, but I just feel like there's something. Either she's going to end up as someone who's been working for Kingpin and we don't know it, that kind of thing, because it's interesting. Like, he's so fascinated with the vigilantes, and so is she. So I could totally see it where down the line, maybe we find out she's been working with him. And part of the whole idea of this book is to try and find out more about them to give information to him. I mean, that's a possibility, but I just feel like there's something.
Yeah, I think everything that you're saying is 100% possible. Yeah, I'm interested to know if she has some deeper, like, goals or deeper ambitions or something like that, or if it's just we're just slowly watching Matt care more and more about her so that something will happen.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'll say I have no confidence that that's going to happen. It's kind of like what I was saying with I forget if I said it this past week when we reviewed the last episode or 2 weeks ago, is they don't make me care about any of these new people in his life, because they haven't done the work for me to care. Where it's like, again, with Foggy and Karen, it's like, well, I had 3 seasons and they were in like every single episode together.
Yeah.
Whereas this, it's like they show up 5 minutes at a time and then they're gone.
Yeah, and
like,
also
okay.
last time you brought that up, I was in disagreement because I was like, well, I really love Cherry and I'm really liking Kirsten and everything like that. And right after that conversation, Cherry was not on the show for 2.5 episodes. And I say 2.5 generously. He was only in 3 minutes of this one. And don't get me wrong, it was a great little scene, and it brought me back to that incredible chemistry that he and Matt have. But you know, he in a show where it really does feel like some of these side characters are not getting as much development as I think that they could. I really, really like Cherry. I feel like he has effortless chemistry with Matt. Whereas I'm like, I want to see where him and Kirsten really develop as partners. I feel that right away with Cherry, but there's the problem with both of them that they're just not in the show enough. And I didn't agree with that after, you know, the first 4 the first 4 episodes. But you know, now again after 5 and 6, I was like, you know, I'm missing some of these people. And then honestly, with Heather, it's like I like all of the interchange and the dialogue between the two of them, but I really only like it for what it's bringing out of Matt. You know what I mean? Like I really liked her toast to Foggy a few episodes ago. But not because I was like, oh, Heather's like finally starting to understand him. I was just locked in on how is this making Matt feel? What does this mean for him? How does it interact with, you know, his view of the death of them? And it honestly, with the prayer in this episode, and then sorry, actually, Shelly, do you have anything else before I let you go? I was going on like a crazy tangent there, but
yeah,
anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, it's just a little side thing that we don't even have to talk about. It's just something that annoys me. I wish Marvel was as secretive with things, pictures and things getting out with their shows like they do with their films, because they have had nothing every day except season 2 shots of Daredevil. I mean, we've seen things we shouldn't have seen. There was another one today. So it's like, I just feel like, you know, we're still watching this one. Yeah. We shouldn't have any clue right now. And if this was a Marvel film, we wouldn't. I mean, I'm shocked that they announced the people that are in this. I'm still not convinced that that's all of them, by the way. But I just feel like that just annoys me. And it seems to be more with the shows, you know, especially shows that are more than one season, because we had that problem with Loki before season 2 as well. So it's just, that's just a pet peeve of mine. We're getting all these pictures that I wish I wasn't seeing.
You gotta just block that stuff out.
I know.
It's also the cost of, because really the 2 big shows that has happened with is Daredevil and Hawkeye. I don't know if you guys remember, but Hawkeye, I mean, you could basically piece the entire show together by how much people were recording. People were like, oh my God, Haley Steinfeld is right outside my window hanging in Christmas lights. Right. Like, and that's, you know, it's the double-edged sword of this show looks so good because it's filmed on location in New York City with just, you know, a simple camera crew. Yeah. You know, that's kind of the part of the charm, but like, you know, like you said, it's also, you can't lock down people from being, you know, a mile away from the set or even 500 feet away from the set. You know, it's like, you can only afford to close off a certain amount of area, and you know, camera lenses go a lot farther than that. But yeah, I totally agree. And then obviously, with the movies and stuff and some of the bigger budget shows like a WandaVision that you know, that's shot all not in the studio but on the studio lot. So it's a lot easier to, you know, keep things kind of secretive there. But definitely some stuff already for season 2 that I'm like, oh, I wish I had not seen that. But
well, thanks for having me on, guys, and I'll listen to everything else you're talking about.
Thanks for joining.
Of course, thank you so much. All right, if anybody else wants to call in with thoughts on Daredevil or Doomsday or anything like that, The link is down below and also in the chat. But yeah, TJ, I want to throw it over to you. I know we talked, kind of covered some spotty stuff throughout the episode with Shelley, but what was your overall thoughts on this? And if you want to just go to any kind of spoilery territory or wherever you want to go after that.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was a good episode. Honestly, I thought the best part of it was like the last 15 minutes. I thought that's when it really picked up. Like I said, I'm struggling to connect with these kind of friends that Matt has, just considering we just get such limited time with them each episode. And this episode was no different. The thing that kind of annoyed me, I would say, was when my God, why does his name always Cherry? His name escapes me because we don't see him that much. Cherry, when he walks in and we have this the stuff with the cops, right? So Fisk is like, oh, I'm gonna get the bad cops, all together to form this task force to take down the vigilantes. Specifically, what's his name again? The serial killer? Muse, specifically Muse. And Cherry comes into the law firm. He's like, Matt, you gotta let the cops, take care of this one. And I'm like, he's killed 60 people. They haven't done anything yet. Why do you want him to just sit by and do nothing?
Yeah.
So I just thought that request was like the most ridiculous thing I'd ever heard, considering he had killed 60 people. The police had literally no idea. And the only reason they found out is because one of the city guys that was trying to clean the murals was like, oh, this is blood on these murals. It was just like the most ridiculous thing where I was like, could they have just had him maybe starting off like, oh, maybe he's killed a few people? They had to make it some ridiculous amount where it's like the most unbelievable thing that the cops would be like, yeah, we had no idea. You had no idea after 60 people. It was just one of those things that really like bugged me about the episode.
To be fair, there's like 11 million people.
I know, but like there's these murals, like nobody was like, oh, look at these dead people and look at these murals. And maybe, I don't know. It just, there's connections there that somehow nobody made. And it took them trying to clean it and some maintenance guy going, oh, actually, and it's the maintenance guy from the bank in the previous episode.
Yeah. Which that was cool.
I just thought it was all a bit ridiculous. And yeah, so I didn't really think I thought the episode didn't really pick up steam until like the last 15 minutes. I thought the last 15 minutes was great. I liked what we got with White Tiger's niece. I didn't think what she was given to say when she was talking to Matt in the law firm was a little, I don't know. It just did not play right.
Really? Wow.
Okay. When she was like, I forgot what they were going back and forth, and she's like, and you're all like, nah. I was like, it just did not play. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It just did not play well for me in that moment. And then Fisk and Vanessa, I liked seeing him at a fundraiser asking people for money. It's kind of like, the shoe on the other foot. That was kind of interesting to see. He's being mayor. He's got to ask these people for this money when he's very used to just like, I'm just going to go do it myself and get all this money, by all these different means. I also just one thing I'll say, just the Fisk and Vanessa relationship. I feel like they set this thing where they're in therapy, but then they're just not doing anything with it. Like, I feel like they should just go to they just have them in that setting every episode to have this conversation of the issues that they have with each other and how that's affecting, their relationship. And they just don't. I feel like they're just not building on things they set up. And I feel like that's what the show's really struggling with. So I thought it was a good episode. I didn't think it was great. And I think what really saved it for me was the last 15 minutes.
Brandon in chat says, I see people flaming the Wyatt Russell reveal. Maybe we could get a little more context on that. But I gotta say, in terms of that, I did not have any of those issues that you had.
Wow.
But I did have some issues with this episode, which was like I said, I am feeling that supporting character overall thing. I will say the not setting up stuff they did in the first like area in episodes 2 and 3. There's a lot of Hector like warning Matt and warning other like police and stuff about the people going missing. Like they do set that up like a lot in those 2 episodes. Granted, though, that was, you know, and granted, this is how TV works, but it was like our time, like 4 weeks ago, that we were dealing with those plot threads and stuff. And now we're kind of picking back up on Muse, you know, a good amount of episodes later. But the main issues that I had was actually like the editing. I felt in the opening scene, kind of that like cold open. It felt like way more, and I'll just say more broad than this. I have been giving this show for sure a lot more, and not that I feel like I have to defend my position on it, but I've been giving the show a lot of slack because of the production, you know, because of what happened with the production and everything. I've been giving this, you know, a lot of slack, but the first time I really felt this feels like an editor came in here trying to punch it up with editing rather than going back and trying to punch stuff up with reshooting stuff, you know what I mean? Or with rewriting stuff. And the main example that I'm thinking of is the interplay, the cutting back and forth between the Luca scene in Fisk's office, which I thought on its own was a good scene for sure. And again, I thought on its own, the Heather stuff with talking about the other vigilantes was like cool. But I just am not feeling that it's connected with that storyline. And then the editing was doing this weird thing where like, and I totally get what they were going for, is that, you know, she's talking about violent natures and about, you know, do we put on the mask to hide our violence, or do we use the mask to, you know, accentuate our violence, you know, kind of thing, as you're seeing Fisk, you know, kind of twitching and, you know, doing all this stuff. I get practically what they were going for. But the cutting back and forth, like between their sentences and stuff, just felt way too frenetic for me, just way too fast and like kind of weird. And I will say, I think that's because they were trying to do an intercutting with Fisk and Matt's conversations to mirror the intercutting at the end of the episode with their fight. You know, which I thought at the end of the episode where Kingpin would throw a punch, then it would cut and Muse would fall down. Or Matt would kick what's his name, and then Adam would be like, oh, you know, I that worked very well at the end of the episode. But what I think they were trying to set up in the beginning of the episode, I thought was really, really weird and kind of took me out of the episode for sure.
I thought, real quick, just speaking of the editing, I thought where I noticed the editing was when Vanessa and Fisk were talking and it was intercut with him walking around the fundraiser.
Yeah, that also felt weirdly edited to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. It also, one of the shots, and again, if it was, I'm not going, one of the shots looked a little weird. They went back, reshot, picked up a million shots for this show. The difference being, I think everything up to this point has been pretty seamless for me. One of the shots was like, there was a shot of Fisk that felt like he was not in that room. Like there were, and he was like,
yeah. Oh, when the blonde woman's talking to him?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I was like, this feels like they didn't have like a reverse of Fisk. Yeah. So they just like needed to film it really quick. And that felt very weird to me. Another person that is in this episode that we have not talked about yet is Jack Duquesne, Lalo Salamanca himself, Tony Dalton coming back from Hawkeye. And I was sitting there and they were interacting and I was trying to think, I was like, obviously, Jack knows that it was Fisk that was pressuring his wife or his fiance, you know, to do all of this shady shit. I would have liked, just on an MCU front, I would have liked maybe a little more like personal history in that interaction that him and
Yeah.
Wilson had. Like, granted, he does feel the confidence to do his little Wilson, like his his little Lalo Salamanca aphorisms, but I would have liked like a mention of Eleanor Bishop, or even like, Wilson, I already told you if you ever come after Kate or something, so why are you trying me at this party?
Yeah.
So just some little reference to their shared history from the Hawkeye series.
I struggled for a second to remember what I saw him in. I was like, what was he in again? And I was like, oh yeah, it was Hawkeye. And I was like, it's just been so long. Like, and I'm sure it'll be the same way.
4.5 years.
Like Kate Bishop, I think we've seen her in a post-credit scene since then, but
in the Marvels, yeah.
Yeah, but other than that, it's just like it's been so long seeing some of these characters where I don't know where his character is gonna go. Are they gonna eventually do something with him, or
is he gonna go?
Is he gonna go the way of Harry Styles, where he just kind of shows up at the end of a movie and he just is whisked away and to never be seen again? I don't know, but it was nice to see, I guess, him in the show. I don't know if he's going to show up again, but
that was him in the BB Report, the guy fighting with the sword.
Yeah.
So I do think he will show up again, because he was at the red carpet premiere. And I feel like maybe we are going to get one of these next. There's 3 episodes left, right? 7, 8, and 9.
Yes.
Yeah. So I feel like one of those episodes it doesn't strike me as something that he's gonna like come in the finale and like, be a real clutch support player in the finale or anything. So I feel like probably maybe even the next episode is going to have to do with him. But yeah, I mean, I guess the last thing before we move on to Avengers talk is I have really, really been liking this show so far, with kind of minor faults here and there. But honestly, nothing that I sadly can't attribute to the kind of Frankenstein production of this. So again, even the issues that I have, I'm like, well, let's just hope that season 2, everything gets ironed out. But to me, it kind of sounds like maybe you're leaning more towards this season is a bit uneven for you. Would you say that's right, or say your final piece on Daredevil before we move on?
I'd say it's a bit of a roller coaster right now.
Okay.
And that's fair. It's a lot. It's tough for me to get on board when I don't really care about
anyone besides 2 characters.
Yeah, I guess. And I really like what they're doing with Fisk and Matt kind of dynamic. And again, like I said, this episode really picked up for me in the last 15 minutes, and the cutting back and forth, and them each fighting their own battles, again, giving in to, actually not giving in, but just fully, I guess, committing to what they're both good at. Although again, I think, what's his name again? The guy who's kidnapped, that Fisk has in a prison. Adam's dead. I'm sorry. I still don't know how he survived any of that, but whatever. Also, seems like Vanessa does not know that he is there. I think Fisk kind of mentioned that offhand. It seemed like Vanessa does not know that he's down there, so that is interesting.
I don't think Vanessa even knows about this place. I don't think she knows anything. Yeah. If I had to guess, it's just Fisk, Adam, and Buck. I think those are the only 3 people that even know this place exists.
Yeah. Sorry, last thing I'll say. Again, we talked about it before. Gandolfini. I don't know why he's in this show. Yeah,
I thought we were going to go 2 full episodes without him, and then he just pops up randomly.
Yeah, he goes, "Oh, here, let me hold this iPad and show you these pictures of dead people." And that's all he does.
That's what he did in the
and they've got to be setting up something big with him, because you don't do that whole thing. And I guess it was just to show that Fisk is he can hold himself back from killing him in episode, what was it, the last 2 episodes ago?
Yeah.
Episode 4. but like you're gonna have him do all that and be like, please, don't, I'm with you forever, I will never mess up again, all that stuff. You have to he's got to do something like with all that, right? He can't just like do nothing, just do nothing and just be there.
Yeah. And I'm honestly like sitting here thinking, and I'm like, because you keep saying, week after week, you keep saying, give Gandolfini something to do. And then I was like, well, it's so weird because there was 3 episodes ago. So episode 4, I was like, they did give him stuff to do, but it's like the in-between moments that we're missing. Like, I want to see Daniel alone in at a bathroom mirror, doing the kind of looking at himself in the mirror, like, you can do this, you could do that. Like, just something like that shows that this guy is struggling with anything. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to like resonate with Daniel on. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand. Am I feeling like he is a good guy for sticking by Fisk? Am I feeling like, oh, he's going down a bad path because he's sticking with Fisk? Or am I feeling this guy is maybe going to flip on Fisk or something like that? And I feel like all the scenes we've gotten so far leave those openings, and there is no interstitials or anything like that to let me even know who this Daniel character is going to. And I thought in episode 4 that we were going to get that when the camera kind of goes into the cab with him and then starts driving away. It does do that cool thing where then it pushes into the kind of other storyline, which I thought was cool, that like these 2 storylines were overlapping on the same street at the same time. But I actually wish we would have followed Daniel home to kind of focus in on this character a little bit. Like you said, if we're building him up for some reveal, or if he's going to do something important, I would like to see that. And I also just think I didn't see The Many Saints of Newark because I'm not a Sopranos guy. I just don't know if like this guy's got it. You know what I mean? I just am not impressed with his ability that he's shown so far in this show, I guess is the way to say it. All right. Well, that has been our talk on episodes 5 and 6 of Daredevil Born Again, which just aired on Disney Plus last night. If you didn't get a chance to go see it, go ahead and watch it. Come back here. But like I promised you, wave of the hands, Daredevil spoilers are over completely. And we are going to go into our Avengers Doomsday talk with all of the big announcements today and everything like that. But before we do, it looks like we have another caller waiting in the wings here. Again, if you're going to call in, make sure that you have your camera off and your microphone on. And it looks like we have somebody calling in right now. Alex, would you be able to mute and then unmute your mic so I know you're ready? Perfect. All right. Hello, we have friend of the show, Alex Frank, on to give his thoughts. I don't know what he's giving his thoughts on. What are you giving your thoughts on?
Talking about the Avengers stuff.
All right, let's go. Let's hear it.
Have you guys spoken about that yet?
No, we're about you're gonna lead us in. So go wherever you want to go.
All right. So for those at home watching who did not get to see earlier today, there was a live stream, I believe, a live broadcast of a reveal of all the main cast, or the ensemble, I guess, of the next Avengers film. But it was doled out in very small pieces over the course of the entire day, or a large chunk of the day. Am I correct in this?
You are correct.
Was that today or was that yesterday already?
That was today.
That was today. Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
So yeah, that's what happened. I think the internet has some thoughts on this. Correct? Am I wrong?
I don't know. I don't know what the internet's thoughts are. Well, I mean, what do you mean by that? I don't know. I don't know like Twitter's reaction or anything.
Just seems like people were a little bit. I don't know. There was some like quick turnaround with like this. I remember seeing this morning when I rolled out of bed that there was like some big Marvel announcement that everyone was posting about yesterday, but there was like no lead up to this. I mean, I'm sure there might have been if you were like paying attention more, but I I think the quick turnaround and like the immense amount of like everyone tune in, everyone's got to watch this. It's going to be a huge deal. And then it was like this long drawn out thing that like we could have like. Was there anything like new here other than like some of returning X-Men people?
I mean, I would consider a lot of those to be pretty big. I mean,
Pretty big?
in terms of the Marvel fan base, like, I mean, that to the people that it matters to, I think it's big.
Okay. Yeah, like I just meant like a lot of things like we could have just like inferred like that it's like a new like Avengers movie. Like a lot of the like Doctor Strange and you know Shang-Chi and stuff like that. I don't know. But I think a lot of like it just felt very like, oh yeah, that makes sense. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. There was nothing truly like would you say, and nothing truly surprising then? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'd say so. Other than I didn't see Deadpool and Wolverine, but I'm aware that that was like some kind of emotional send off to like the Fox universe stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I can understand why some people might think like, why are we going back to this again? But I also understand like this is like supposedly going to be a huge crossover that they kind of have to bring a bunch of people back again.
Yeah, and I'll say too for Deadpool and Wolverine, I think you nailed it on the head. It was an emotional send off of the Fox universe, while only containing, if you don't count Jackman and Reynolds, while only containing like two people from it. Like none, almost none of the. I mean, TJ, help me out. Are any of the original X-Men in that movie? I don't think so. In Deadpool and Wolverine. I think it's just Jackman, right? Yeah. So it's like they have the little Green Day video montage, and it's very, very beautiful. But like, I do think there's room for this to be a narrative send off to that universe, if that makes sense, not just an emotional one.
Okay. Yeah, that does make sense.
Yeah. And again, I totally get that. Even a part of me was like, man, if we're going like full multiverse on this, like give me McKellen and McAvoy, or give me like really mix it up. You know what I mean? There was a little element of me that was like, it felt like, other than Channing Tatum, it felt like a very traditional X-Men lineup. And I would have liked maybe, and again, I think it's already clear that this is not everyone that's in the movie. I mean, this isn't even this isn't even close to the amount of people that were in Infinity War that they announced today.
Did they say there's going to be like another one of these, or did they even like say that this isn't all of it?
Well, if by they you mean Marvel, they don't say anything, but yeah,
they don't comment on
Marvel.
it?
Like commented on, I think RDJ like posted like a thing on Instagram. Marvel like commented or whatever on his like thing, and it was like, oh, there's always room for more chairs or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
honestly, to me, the one person, I don't know, Alex, if you were in, what you heard of our Daredevil review, but TJ was talking about the Marvels. The one person I think who's not on this list, the single actor that I'm like, okay, well, there has to be more, is Tiana Paris. I mean, you can't, I don't know how you're bringing all these X-Men in without Monica Rambeau with what happens in the end of the Marvels. So that's like, if she's not on this list, then by its nature, to me, I'm like, well, then this isn't even probably close to the full amount of people. This is probably just the people whose contracts are locked.
Yeah.
And that's I think really probably what it is. Yeah.
I would also imagine they're not showing every single person on purpose. You know, they're very strategic with probably who they're talking about here.
Yeah. And it's really the bulk of the people that they announced here are pretty much the entire, it's basically four groups: the X-Men, the Wakandans, the Fantastic Four, and the Thunderbolts. That's basically all they announced, really. Which you all kind of figured. I mean, look at the last three movies. What was it? It was a big X-Men movie. It's the Thunderbolts. There was another movie in there too that came out recently. I can't remember what it was. But it's Thunderbolts and then Fantastic Four. That is our run up, and everyone they announced today are all the major players from those 4 areas of the MCU. So, you know, I think there's plenty of time for people who, you know, are just random additions, or people like, I know, Alex, you said Doctor Strange earlier, but I mean, as Doctor Strange is not on this list.
He's not on the list?
No, he was not announced today.
My next question was going to be, what were the big names that like seem absent?
A lot. I mean, a lot of people. I think, you know, Doctor Strange. Another, Tom Holland. That's probably a big one. Don Cheadle. But also, what it really makes me question is, what is the nature of this Doomsday movie? You know what I mean? I think it just might be. And again, I fully admit there is more people coming to this movie than just the names they announced today. But I think maybe it is just going to be a smaller story. You know what I mean? Smaller than we think is what I mean. Not a small story. It's going to be huge. But I don't know if it is going to be an Infinity War, 3 corners of the universe all converging on Wakanda and Titan, you know, at the end of the movie. I think it's maybe going to be a much more like, you know, we're following the X-Men's perspective, we're following the Avengers perspective, and then how it all kind of, how the different perspectives intertwine.
As more Infinity War than Endgame.
Yeah, more Infinity War than Endgame for sure, but maybe even more small and intimate than Infinity War. Because like in Infinity War, you have like the news is like aliens invading, the Tony Stark has gone missing, like you know, all this kind of stuff. I feel like this is going to be a lot more maybe behind closed doors.
Okay.
I don't know. That's just my thinking. TJ?
Were there any? Oops, sorry.
No,
I'm with you. Keep going. Whatever you were saying.
Was there any mention of any Guardians people on here?
None at all.
No.
None at all.
Another key sign to me that there's gonna be more. Yeah.
Is it safe to assume that then like that chapter might be closed for a little while? I think
some of those people are done.
Yeah. Oh, in terms of like the team from the like my brain just like it just moves on to I don't know. When you said the Guardians, my mind just went to the team at the end of the movie. You know,
that's kind of what I was thinking.
Kind of like how Letitia Wright is, you know, the Black Panther at the end of that second movie, even though some people are like, she's the Black Panther. What? Anyways, I think you could see like a Sean Gunn, Rocket Raccoon, like anyone who's still alive and on the board. I think you could definitely see, but like Drax, Mantis, maybe even Nebula. Like I don't think you're ever seeing them again. Nebula, you'll probably see again, just because she was never an actress that was like, I'm done with this universe. But like a lot of those Guardians were, though again, kind of like a Monica Rambeau, but not quite to that level. I think Guardians or no Guardians, Pratt is going to be like Star-Lord in this universe for like 20 years. Like, I don't think you're ever going to get rid of that guy. I mean, considering Guardians 3 ends, it doesn't say the Guardians will return. It says Star-Lord will return, and he's on Earth. And, you know, we did see that concept art that the Russos said has nothing to do with their movie, but, you know, Star-Lord was a very heavy presence in the original concept art for, you know, what we think it is. Alex, unless you have another thing to bring up, last question I want to throw to you and then to TJ, and then we'll call it on your phone call. Thanks for calling in again. This is just going on a theory time here, but some of that concept, basically everyone who was in the concept art that leaked is not on this list. Most of them. Okay. What are the chances? Is this the list of people who they don't get blipped? They're not snapped out of existence, but do these people disappear into the void or into Battle World or wherever Doom is taking all these people? Are these the people that disappear, and then maybe Secret Wars is everyone that is left trying to get everyone back? And maybe that's why we don't see Spider-Man, we don't see Doctor Strange, we don't see a lot of these people that we imagine we would normally see.
I would hesitate to say that simply because that would be like that would be setting like a huge precedent for like, because I remember with Infinity War and then Endgame, I remember like all the marketing material of like the faces with like the black and white posters.
Yeah,
I think that was
Avenge
Endgame,
the
right?
Fallen. Yeah, Avenge the Fallen.
Yeah, I feel like having some sort of like super clear split like that again might in some way like diminish the first time around, and then it kind of like then becomes like, all right, well, are they going to do it like a third time? You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's my only hesitation with that.
Other question is the only story that Marcus McFeely and the Russos are able to tell is about the Avengers splitting in half.
That's quite possible. I did not consider that.
TJ?
Yeah.
Real. That's so real. All right, Alex, thank you so much for calling in with your thoughts on all this stuff. We're going to take a little dive in, and then we're going to do a little team roster ranking after this. So stick around, but we appreciate you calling in.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks.
All right. All righty then. So yeah, let's just play this. I just want to go over just what happened today. Just what exactly happened today, TJ. They released this beautiful fast version where we have Chris Hemsworth, Vanessa Kirby, Anthony Mackie. Don't worry, guys.
This is what they should have done.
Yeah, we're gonna.
They should have done this from the get-go.
We're gonna talk about these names a lot. But yeah, this is the fat. Paul Rudd, he got his chair back. He got the correct size. Oh yeah, what was the thing that Brandon was saying about Wyatt Russell?
I think he was saying that people are thinking that it seemed like the big reveal was Wyatt Russell.
Everybody was pissed about every single one of these character reveals. It wasn't enough. It's not. And trust me, we will talk about it. But every time a name was revealed, people were pissed and overjoyed. Every time. David Harbour. A lot of Thunderbolts making it into Doomsday. Ghost. Good to see Ghost glow up. That was a big one for me.
It was every single Thunderbolt except for Taskmaster.
Yeah. But how cool would it have been if the very last thing was Olga Kurylenko walked out in the Taskmaster suit and went, "Miss me?" And that was the big reveal.
No, that would not have been cool. I can promise you that. Oh boy. They better, here's what I'm gonna say. They better nail it.
New snazzy logo.
Better knock this out of the park. Or there is a rude awakening coming from Marvel Studios.
Whoa. TJ says rude awakening for this crew right here. Man. All right, well, let's hear it. Let's just give me everything you got. I know we talked about this earlier today.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think we were at least very early on, we were on opposite ends. I was a very big fan right out of the gate of this idea. I know a lot of the internet was not. So hit me with it. How'd you feel about it? Go through it.
I thought it was stupid. I thought it was stupid that they took 6.5 hours, give or take, to do that. I get it would be a cool idea, like you said, maybe not that sped up, maybe 5 minutes between chairs. Okay, fine. But 10 plus minutes between revealing cast members that you could have assumed that we're going to be in the movie. Fantastic Four, shocker, they're in the movie. Who would have thought that? Some of the other like random names that show up, like not Chris Hemsworth. Okay, yes, he's in the movie. Like we didn't need this to tell us that. We already knew. But also, I wish they would have left some of those names as surprises. Why would you? And I agree. There are definitely more people in this movie. Mm-hmm. Give or take, are they going to announce them ahead of time? I hope not. I hope these are kind of, again, whether these are all side kind of characters or main focal points of the movie. I want to go back to the day when characters like these showing up in these movies were not just laid out there.
Mm-hmm.
Is that just me?
Can I ask you when and what movie was that ever the case? Because I feel, I mean, it's I just feel like this is
prefer more
the name of the game.
it being kept a secret,
yeah,
than them coming out and saying it, even if it gets leaked. Like, okay, Andrew Garfield. I know Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. Everybody like assumed they were going to be in it, but they never really came out and outright said it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Whereas, like, you know, it was the DoorDash guy delivering food to Andrew Garfield in Atlanta or something like that, where it's like, okay, he's probably going to be in the movie. But whereas in this case, they're just listing all these people. And I'm like, but where's the surprise? Where's the magic? Where's the surprise in that?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know. Maybe it's more the anticipation, I guess. It kind of ruins that for me a little bit.
Yeah. I will just say I literally could not feel, and I am in the vast minority. I literally could not feel more completely opposite.
I watch it? I did.
If my name was Nais. See, but that's the thing though, is that it's like I texted you this and I said I said at like 11:30, I said, you don't have to watch it. I'm not saying like I told him to watch it for the show. Like I just meant in general, I'm like I tuned into this live stream of this channel that we both follow and have for many years, and just every sentence I heard was like, oh my, was an eye roll from. I mean, it's just like, going off of there. Well, we know that, but I thought Black Panther was going to be T'Challa's son, all grown up. What do you mean it's the person who was Black Panther in the last movie? Are we like watching the same movies? Like, sorry, I know we're watching the same movies. Are we experiencing the same facts? No, is the answer, by the way, to that. And that kind of stuff just drives me crazy. But I will say, on that, the whole thing of like, oh yeah, that was the other thing they said was, it was like, you know, I think at the end of the day, it's going to be like, this could have just been a tweet. And I texted you and I said, it will be a tweet. If you woke up, if you slept in late and you woke up at 6 p.m. today, you would look down and you see the tweet. You go, oh my God, there you go. The live stream was just a fun thing.
Can you agree that 6 hours is ridiculous?
But why does it matter? Why does it matter? I guess I don't understand why it matters.
Well, I guess that goes back to my thing where it's like, yes, okay, I get I watched it, but I'm never thinking, oh, I wish they would do this long ass live stream where they would announce like half the cast in this one video. Like I said, it just takes away. It takes away the anticipation of it all. Mm-hmm. Like I said, obviously, you know, with other movies, it was like, and it was before the multiverse. We had before this kind of multiverse, I guess, was a thing. It was more of probably prior Endgame, I would say. It was, you know, okay, everybody was announced, you know, there's not going to be really anybody, you know, surprise showing up in a very major role because it's all contained in the one world. You know what I mean? Yeah. Whereas we're not jumping universes. Mm-hmm. But since Endgame, really, with all, you know, the everybody's coming in, everybody gets revived, coming through the holes, all that stuff. And then after that, I feel like we've, you know, been obviously going more into kind of guest cameos. We got a lot in Deadpool, Wolverine. And I think it really started, I guess, with Spider-Man, where we had these people, but it's like they really did their best to keep it a secret, and it just didn't obviously happen. Like they even edited the trailer they released, where it's like clearly there's two gaps where these people should be, and they're not there. And now they're just like announcing everybody. I'm gonna pull a Michael Vogel from the Geek Buddies. I gotta push back on this. I gotta. Like, I'm trying to think of sorry, real quick.
Yeah, go.
Obviously, this isn't everybody, so maybe there's a lot of people that they just haven't announced. I'm just saying. Like,
I really think that like for me, when you say that it kills the anticipation, to me, I'm like, these are the people that they're comfortable announcing. So it's like anyone else. And I don't and then but I'm saying that in like at this point, before Infinity War came out, we already had a full trailer. We knew who was going to be in that movie 3 years before that movie came out. And it's like, so to me, it's like finding out, even if it's half the cast, even if it's 75% of the cast, just finding out who's going to be in the movie. I mean, that's like, to me, that feels like nothing.
Maybe to me, it's just, I think the spectacle of this stream was not necessary. Maybe to me, it's like, you just put them in the trailer. Maybe I'm probably more apt to be like, oh, okay, they're in the movie. Granted, would I be like, why did you put that in the trailer? That would have been a cool surprise to walk into the theater.
Yeah.
I just feel like this whole like thing was like, just, I'd rather see them in footage than you just showing me chairs with their name on it, I guess, is my point.
Yeah. So it's kind of like more like the like pomposity of it,
I guess. Yeah. And again, it's just like maybe Spider-Man's just like a special example, but they tried so hard to keep that a secret.
But also, they did try hard to keep it a secret, but all the villains, 8 characters from the multiverse were in all of the marketing. There was only 2 actors that they kept secret. Yeah. I think there's going to be a lot more than 2 actors kept secret for this movie. Right. And granted, I'm not saying that Halle Berry as Storm is as big as Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man. Right. And I use those 2 specifically because Andrew Garfield, amazing, literally. Everybody loves him. He's the 3rd most loved Spider-Man. You know what I mean? He just less movies, less time, ended tumultuously. Halle Berry, in a ton of X-Men movies, everybody loves her. To me, they're like kind of on similar footing, but Storm is not Spider-Man. You know, like, so I give you that is huge. But at the same time, like, if we get to the 3rd act of this movie and like full on a portal opens or something, and they're like, go my children. And it's, what's his name? Michael Fassbender's Magneto with a different version of Wanda and Evan Peters as, you know, Pietro. Like, I just think that there is so I just feel like where I come from it and what makes me sad, and I'm not saying that, you know, oh, I feel a great swell of pity for these people, but what makes me sad is that it's like I think people are thinking that this is like ruining the movie for them, and I just think that like I think people are getting upset, like not for no reason, because it's valid to get upset if that's how you feel. But it's just like, I just feel like this is such a little thing.
Yeah.
That it's like, yeah, how are you gonna? And I'm not saying that you said this is gonna ruin the movie for me.
No, I'm still gonna see the movie.
Yeah, but people are like acting like, well, you just gave it all away. And it's like, yeah, they gave away a lot of people, and we're gonna get into them. We still have a whole other thing that we're gonna do. It's gonna be a fun game. But before we get to the fun game, I definitely wanted to talk out just because there's just so much. I mean, I've been texting TJ like every day about just these YouTube channels that I watch. I'm like, I'm at my wit's end with like the commentary in this space. Not that we're in this space, but the space that we, you know, do stuff in, and that we stream in, and that we post videos in with the, you know, movie review and kind of news space. It's just so many people. And I guess it's just, I'm not going to give a whole treatise on like what's wrong with our country, but like it's what's happening in this YouTube space is the same thing that's happening in our country right now, and in the whole world. It's not even just America. It's just like, it just gets to me so much, and I'm just like, can't we just go back to the days of like, oh, that's cool that they did that. Who's in it? And then I'm just like I just feel like, I don't know. I just think the psychoanalysis of every minor thing. It's 14 minutes between the chairs. It's 12 minutes between the chairs. What does it mean? Is Battle World going to be a clock because it's 12 minutes? Or like the stream that I tuned into earlier where he said, yeah, I timed it. It's 14 minutes between. So I think they're only doing 14 characters. That guy got real quiet after the 15th chair showed up. I just hate like like ownership that people go, well, that's not the rumor that doesn't match up with the rumor I heard, so it must be something changed.
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't know that. We don't know what the Russos are planning with this movie. By the way, this is only part one. Like, you know what I mean? This is only part one. And it's like, we don't know what the Russos have planned with this movie. We don't know what Michael Waldron had planned with the old version of the movie. So I'm just, I'm just taking the information as they give it to us, and I'm just along for the ride. I, like always, cut myself off at TV spots like I have for the past 10 years. Anything before that, I trust the studio. I trust Marvel especially. They're not going to show us anything that Kevin, I don't trust Marvel. I trust Kevin Feige to go, we got way more than McKellen. Put him in there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I think. And guess what? Even if they don't, it's not going to ruin the movie for me, because I know that the line from Infinity War, the sun will shine on us again, Loki and Thor are in this movie together. And that makes me, that to me is bigger than any X-Men reveal that they made today, is the fact that we are getting Loki and Thor back in a movie together 10 years after Ragnarok.
I just think you have to be wary of how they use these characters and how well they play whatever their role is. You don't want it to be another, just taking these two examples, Spider-Man No Way Home, they weaved those two other Spider-Men into the movie so well, and everything worked great.
For sure.
Whereas opposed to, say, Multiverse of Madness, when they kind of cast the Illuminati as these, some returning, some, a fan cast, and they didn't really do anything with them. And I feel like that was something that people specifically did not like about the movie. Maybe, I forget, you included, if you were not a fan of that. Whereas, like, I just hope that with all these people as well, they do something meaningful, that it's not some little grab bag thing to get you into the theater, and then it's like, okay, well, here they are.
It's
for
not
2
the
seconds.
Deadpool 2 cameo where they're all just standing in their living room.
Right. Yeah.
Well, let's man, we turned into that was our hot mic segment.
Yeah.
that was really fun though. But yeah, shifting gears just a little bit here to go off of what TJ just so kind of eloquently teed up for us. We are going to go into and kind of discuss what kind of role we think these people are going to have in the movie as we finish out tonight's episode. Feel free to fire off in chat. I just want to get caught up here. Just 1 second. RL said, I tried calling in. I did not see that. RL, if you want to try to call back in again. I did not see that. It might have been,
he was sitting here when Alex was talking.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't. All right. Yeah. I did not see that, RL. But again, if you guys call in, you can sit down there as long as you want. If you're down there, we will pull you in. So don't think if
I will say right now, a little press for time.
Okay, well, RL, give us a call next week to give us your thoughts on Daredevil, because we're
completely honest, that's just because I want to watch the studio. I don't know if you're gonna watch
Me too. Show, but Me too. I'm gonna watch it too. Michelle says, OMG, so excited that my X-Men are back. Yes. Again, Famke Janssen, so many X-Men that weren't announced that I would assume are going to make it. I like the MCU mix of X-Men, Avengers, Thunderbolts. Right, Shang-Chi, of course. I have to say, I wish I didn't know that Gambit was going to be in it. Would have loved that feeling again of seeing him walk on screen. True. Yeah, but remember the feeling from Deadpool and Wolverine when he did walk on the screen, and know you're probably going to get that with a new character or a new old character, I guess. And then Danielle says, right, I agree. I missed the surprise factor. I feel like it was something Marvel always does, always had, but doesn't anymore. Yeah, I also think it's just really hard. I mean, basically all of Hollywood runs on the scoop game now. And I mean, when I say now, I mean in a way that it didn't when Endgame came out just 5 years ago. 6 years ago. Jesus. It's just so much more fierce. It's any little name, any little anything is going to get out there, and Twitter is just going to explode it, and you're going to hear about it. So it is hard. All right, let's go ahead and dive right into this thing. First of all, first thing I want to know is, people watching, can you see these pictures? Because I got told last time we did this, it was a little hard to see everything. So I am more than happy to zoom in, whatever we got to do. This is one I actually spent a decent amount of time on this, which I was happy to do because it was fun to kill some time doing this. But rather than do like a tier list of, you know, S tier, A tier, and just like ranking the characters, I thought it would be fun for us to go through, and as TJ just naturally brought up in our conversation, what kind of a role are these actors and these characters going to have in the movie? So I kind of broke it down into cameo, which just means a quick pop in, 1 or 2 moments, which, you know, maybe think like a Groot in Infinity War, where he's there, but he has kind of one big moment, which is the, you know, creating Stormbreaker. 2 moments, because then he's got the I am Steve Rogers thing. That was cool. Side storyline. I think that's kind of maybe like your Nebula and Rhodey in Endgame, where it's like there's a little something going on, a little flavor with these characters, but they're maybe not like the driving force of the movie. Big support. That's like, think like Star-Lord in Infinity War. Like he's a very, very big character, but he's not like the lead. And then A-list, you know, who's our Doctor Strange, who is our Tony, that kind of thing. Also, big support, I would throw Steve Rogers in Infinity War. I think, you know, he's definitely not a lead in Infinity War.
Yeah.
He's only in it for like 6 minutes. But again, think of how impactful those 6 minutes are. So let's just go for it. Who do you want to start? Let's just go right here with the order that this put it in.
Yeah, I would say Namor, you'd probably have to throw 1 or 2 moments, I think.
Yeah, maybe a big like you know, he's, you know, him and Wakanda are finally standing together. You know, probably something like that.
We just haven't seen anything from that character, and then obviously the actor had that kind of legal situation that I don't know what happened with that, but
I guess he got a new last name out of it.
Yeah.
I guess so. Honestly, to me, in terms of sheer shock, Namor to me was more shocking than any of the X-Men. I was like, oh, Namor? That was like if they announced an Eternal. I was like, whoa, we're getting Namor back. Like that, pretty cool.
Do you think, real quick, sorry, and I know we're kind of, you know, taking longer too, but do you think any of this would have happened if Kang remained?
Any of what?
The threat? Like all of these people. Like, do you think this was always the...
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, I do. I think if you remember, there was before they announced Doomsday, there was all the like, oh, is it going to be AVX? Like, is it going to be Avengers versus X-Men, or what's it going to be? I think even when it was Kang Dynasty, I think we're thinking of it as, is it Kang or is it Doom? I think Kevin Feige, for years, since Multiverse of Madness, even before that, it's always been about incursions. It's always been leading to this. It was always leading to our MCU world fighting some other world. And I think maybe if anything changed, it was just, hey, we know it's going to be the X-Men. Like, that is who it's going to be. Like, if anything changed along the way, maybe it was like, you know, it was going to be like an evil Earth. You know, there was the Steve Rogers rumors and stuff like that. I think they were like, you know, they're not going to make it an evil Earth where it's like evil versions of these people. Let's just make it the X-Men and have them fight the X-Men. The 40, 50, 60, and 90-year-old X-Men. You know, the ones that everybody's excited to see. Let's see. I just thought of something too, and I just can't remember what it was.
Can we like group some of them together?
Oh yeah, for sure. I remembered what I was going to say, which about Namor. Another thing that this list excites me for, and I think should excite casual fans, is now the people that go, do I have to see Thunderbolts? Yes. Do I have to see Fantastic Four? Yes. Do I have to I didn't see Black Panther 2. You probably might want to see Black Panther 2. Like, and it's getting me to want to rewatch some of these movies, because I know we talk about all the time these Phase 5 and or Phase 4 and Phase 5 titles. I just don't go back and rewatch them the way that I used to rewatch the old stuff. But in our household rewatch, we are actually up to Falcon and Winter Soldier, so we've been watching that.
Nice.
All right, let's do some get some Thunderbolts going. Okay, so maybe let's talk like the Thunderbolts as a whole, like what kind of role do we think like they're gonna? Are they just gonna be like kind of the foundation of like the Avengers? You know what I mean? It's like is Sam gonna go, I don't have Avengers, let's take these guys to start. Like,
yeah, maybe they're like I think maybe they're kind of side storyline. Do we start like Suicide Squad? Do we send the Thunderbolts in and we just murder them immediately?
Yeah, exactly.
Wouldn't that be crazy?
Like
that would be like something. What a start that would be.
That would be crazy. Well, if Taskmaster was on this list, you can bet you can bet that's what it would be. All right, let's go Ghost. I think Ghost, honestly, I'll say Ghost might be a glorified cameo.
Yeah.
I'm excited for Ghost to get some good development and stuff in Thunderbolts, but that's in Thunderbolts. I mean, when she steps into this world, she's going to be so background, maybe like the Wasp in Endgame, where it's like she has 2 or 3 lines that are fun. All right, let's go Red Guardian. I think Red Guardian
1 or 2.
Yeah, it could be like 1 or 2 moments.
Yeah.
Yelena, I think might. What do you think? Side storyline or like big support?
I think big support.
I see that too, for sure. I know there's other Thunderbolts on here.
Sentry?
Yeah, Sentry. Do we think Sentry's gonna like play a big role or like kind of a side thing?
I think could be a side.
Yeah. I think so. Like an important, like Captain Marvel in Endgame, right? Like he's not on our side, but right at the last second, who is that? It's Bob, and he's like, and just like lasers like somebody. John Walker. Where I would hope big support. I'm gonna say side storyline.
Okay, I'd agree with that.
Yeah, I think he is a bigger character. For a character who's lived exclusively in one TV show so far, I think he's a bigger character even than like Red Guardian, in my opinion. Like I mean, I just love Wyatt Russell and I love US Agent as like a character. Let's see, did we get all the Thunderbolts? Yeah, we did. Oh, Bucky, technically.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna say big support. Yeah, yep. I mean, he's gonna be huge. All right, let's go Fantastic Four.
But I would say they're all A-list because
you think they're all going to be A-list. Okay.
I think so.
Yeah. I definitely agree that they're going to be grouped together, and I think you might be right. I think by the very nature that they have to be, not that they have to be, but that they're probably going to be grouped together.
Well, I mean, they're just tied to Doom, so I just
assume, exactly. But I could see a world where it maybe looks more like this.
Okay.
I could see that if maybe these two get split off or maybe even get taken by Doom. I could see that happening. All right, let's get some of these. Let's do these Captain America characters, which are just 2. Let's go with Joaquin Torres, new Falcon.
Side, I would say.
Side storyline. Yeah, I think so. I think so for sure.
Sam, I would go.
I would go A.
Oh, really?
You think big support?
Yeah, I think he's on the. I really think this is gonna be like not a. I'm not gonna say this is gonna be like Fantastic Four 2 or something like that, but I just feel like it's gonna be them and maybe one.
Hey, the last name, the second name was Vanessa Kirby. The second last name was Pedro Pascal. So I think 100%. I mean, I think 100% you're right on that. I personally think Mackie might have a bigger role, but I'm cool with putting him in big support because he might fill the role that Cap filled in Infinity War, where you know what I mean? It's maybe Cap's big moment is going to be in Secret Wars. All right, let's hit up some of these. Let's do the X-Men. So what do we think? I mean, I'll throw it to you. Wherever you want to put anyone, I'm open to hear because I don't.
Yeah.
I feel like they're not all going to be together like this. I feel like we're going to be following a bunch of different perspectives. You know what I mean? And I think a bunch of different kind of tiers. Like I don't think every scene with Charles Xavier is going to be all 8 X-Men in a circle. You know what I mean? It's
Beast its side storyline.
You think? Yeah.
It just seems to me like they have something bigger for that character. Yeah. I don't know. I have a feeling about that.
Yeah, like if she was on this list, him and Monica would be like right next to each other.
Yeah, I think you do have to put some of the X-Men in cameo, maybe the older ones. Maybe like an Ian McKellen
in cameo.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe Patrick Stewart might have more. Maybe I would put him 1 or 2 moments. I think he might have 1 or 2, like something relatively decently sized to do.
Real.
What do you think about Loki?
Honestly, I think Loki is A-list. I think
I was thinking
there
is
big
supporter A-list. Yeah.
I think that the fact that the World Tree hit like his like multiversal loom, whatever the fuck you want to call it, the tree that he made. The fact that that exact design showed up in What If, and the fact that it showed up in, or a version of it or an allusion to it showed up in Deadpool and Wolverine, I think shows that just the fact that the TVA was all over Deadpool and Wolverine, I think to go, hey, guess where Loki's been? He's actually been the one running the TVA. That's a very quick thing to do in the movie. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not quick, but you just kind of got to get it over with. And then I think once you get that over with, it's very easy to position him as a huge player in this movie. Right. That's my take on it. Yeah. What about like Nightcrawler?
I think he
might be like 1 or 2 moments.
1 or 2 moments. I would agree with that. Yeah.
I think that, I mean, you got to remember, this guy was only ever in X2. Like he never came back for 3. He never came back for Days of Future Past. So I feel like getting him to come back, it's going to be more than just his face. You know what I mean?
Right.
And again, this isn't even 1 or 2 lines. This is 1 or 2 moments. So like even people in cameo, like they're going to have speaking lines. Like they're not just going to be on screen. But what about Gambit?
1 or 2 moments. I think they'll want to do a little bit more with, not that they didn't do anything in Deadpool Wolverine, but I think they'll want to keep going with what they were doing.
What about Mystique?
With Channing Tatum.
Rebecca Romaine Stamos.
I don't know about you.
Cameo, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see it being cameo, unless there's some sort of like, we need a shapeshifter, but all the Skrulls are dead. Like, you know, so it's like, we need you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think probably cameo. In my heart of hearts,
Marsden, I think is going to be.
I really want Scott to be side, but you think he will be up there?
I think he'd be side at least. Yeah.
I think he might be in on the Beast storyline. Oh, you know who another person that's obviously going to be in the movie that they didn't announce is Lashana Lynch. Like Monica's mom. I mean, like anyone from the post-credit scene of the Marvels is definitely going to be in it. All right, so let's go with, what about Scott? Everybody loves Scott. Huge role in Endgame. Obviously, like one of the main. The only reason that movie even happened is Scott.
I think
obviously was going to be a big Kang player, but where does he fall in the Doom stuff?
I would go support because I think his time might be winding down.
Okay. I don't want to agree with that, but I will agree with that. But I don't want that to be the case, but I think you might be right. I just don't see how you would kill Ant-Man. Like you're gonna kill Scott Lang and you never killed Hank Pym. Make it make sense. Bring Hank Pym in, throw his ass in the chamber and kill him. Scott. Let's go to Wakanda real quick. Let's go with M'Baku. I feel like honestly maybe 1 or 2 moments because he got a lot of decent play between Infinity War and Endgame, but he never really went above 1 or 2 moments, and I don't really know if his character is like designed for that outside of a Black Panther movie. You know what I mean? This is my opinion. All right. The Black Panther herself, where are we putting Shuri? on this list?
Well, I would think she would have to go above Baku. So
yeah,
I would probably go side storyline.
I feel like it would be support
between side and big support, honestly.
Yeah, let's put her at the end of big support just because it's Black Panther.
Yeah.
Whether the rumors are true or not, you got to have a Black Panther all throughout that movie. I mean, it's like, you know, like look again, we're talking about the people that had small roles in Infinity War. T'Challa had a huge role in Infinity War.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. The man, the myth, the legend.
Shang-Chi, I think
so long.
He's up there.
I feel like just for the exact opposite Paul Rudd reason.
Yeah.
This guy, they put this guy at the front of A. They said, "Is there any chance we can make the movie about him?" And then they did, and then Daniel Destin Cretton left. So, yeah. But I'm going to put him. I think he's big support. I think he's going to be on like the team, capital T, capital T. All right, Thor Odinson. Where's he going?
I think.
I just feel like Thor is like the cosmic bedrock for this universe. You know what I mean? I just don't see how you have a movie with an Avengers movie with Thor in it where Thor is anything less than an A-lister.
Yeah.
Like I mean, what do you think? I don't know. I mean, I literally can't see it any other way.
No, I would agree with that. And do you think that is another one whose time might be dwindling?
Yeah. I mean, he's another one that to me, I not that I'm like, I thought he was done with Thor, but it was surprising that was the first name we saw. I was like, okay, he's back. He's not going anywhere. You know, I think it was surprising. But yeah, I mean, why was Thor crying? You know, I think you could definitely see these two movies being his end. And then I think the easiest one to answer them all, obviously, this is just gonna be a cameo. No, Dr. Doom. I mean, he's got to be right up there with Reed, right? I don't know how you don't do this. But yeah, right there. I think that is our at least quick thoughts. Get out of there. Oh my God. What is going on? Ad covered content. That's true. I don't like that it's cutting that off because of that freaking ad. Anyways, this is our kind of list of where we think some of these players might shake out. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let us know down below. Let's see. We got a couple of chats coming in. I just want to make sure. Shelly said Namor will have some fun or some funny line with Shuri. Yeah, probably. I feel like they also announced at least these actors' characters to bring people in to see the movies that are coming first, or like Black Panther 2, maybe even Shang-Chi, to be ready for this. I think some of the X-Men will be under side storyline, at least the top ones. Older version of Mystique was always with Magneto, so they should be on the same line. Looking forward to dynamic between RDJ and Pedro. Yeah, for sure. I mean, we actually inadvertently did put Magneto and Mystique on the same line, which makes sense because they are always those two characters traditionally were always together in those movies. Watch this. Isn't this amazing that I can do? And boom, there you go. There's a nice full screenshot of it for you. So that is our list. That is our tier maker list of where we think things will land. Did we get it right? Did we get it wrong? Let us know. Where do you think people are going to go? Or do you think Loki's going to have like a way smaller role than we're maybe thinking? Let us know down below. But other than that, I think that will do it for me. Thank you for joining us. We've been doing pretty short shows lately, so somehow an hour and 45 minutes is a little bit of a longer show. So we appreciate you joining us. Yeah, I think that's everything. That'll do it for me. I've been one of your hosts, Sean Monk. Sure to comment below what you think about the Doomsday announcement, how they announced it, and who they announced, as well as the last two episodes of Daredevil Born Again. That will do it for me. I've been one of your hosts, Sean Monk.
That was TJ Cornwell. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And we will see you next time.
Boom.